piss ran down my leg.
Oh my god, Vic, shut up.
I couldn't stop pissing and pissing
That's
down my
not a
leg.
good start of a stream, Vic.
There was yellow everywhere. Hell, I drank so much Gatorade my pee turned blue. It was amazing. Just pee everywhere.
I hope you realize Pim is gonna listen to that.
You didn't even stream. It's fine.
What
No,
do you
Bim.
mean?
No,
Of
no, no,
course
no.
I started
No,
streaming.
no, 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 no. You didn't. No, you didn't. Pee all over the place. Well, I'm not telling people to do that. I just want to let you know you didn't connect your Bluetooth.
I did connect.
No, you had to click the screen button to
No,
connect it. You didn't
not,
connect it.
that's not true. I did connect.
Well, I'm watching your stream and it's just showing the
No,
symbol of a
it's a
phone.
lie. I have connect. Hello, everybody. Hi, Swift.
Hi, Swift. Hello, everybody. Tell Vix I wish him a happy early birthday. Thank you, crazy Meowza. I saw that. You're welcome, random citizen.
No, you didn't.
Okay, never mind. Also, I can't stream on my channel. My PC is currently out in the shop getting upgraded and repaired. And then when it comes back, she'll be better than ever. And I'll be looking into getting a good microphone, a Shure microphone. So I will go from sounding like this to sounding like Nirami talk.
La 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 la.
Like that. So, long story short, yeah!
That's crazy. Okay. Well. Do you wanna start?
Hang on, I have to crack my knuckles. You don't mind, right?
Oh my god, no, stop it, I hate it.
Oh god! That was a can. Hang on, let me light my candle. I don't want to waste time. I gotta light my candle. Hang on. I gotta get into the mood. I gotta hang on. I'm gonna turn on scary music too on my. I'm having to record audio right now on my PlayStation, so it's very strange. But I'm gonna listen to music while we do this.
Okay.
There we go. Every time I open YouTube, I don't know why, but it like does like a bass boost in my ears. It's really weird. Cheeseburger. Can you hear that? Cheeseburger. Can you hear that? Cheeseburger. Okay, cool. We're good. So yeah, we're gonna be doing horror stories, as you would expect. Horror. I have trouble pronouncing horror. Horror.
No, that's not it.
I must be stopped. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna listen to AI J Schlatt covers while I read.
Oh my god, no.
What's wrong with it? Is there something wrong?
No. Okay, continue.
No? Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and how do you lower the audio of this? It's so loud. Oh, my ears! My ears! Okay, well, I guess I can't listen to music. Alright, let's start reading. No more. Alright, ready?
Yes!
Let's begin. Do you have your scary music on?
No, because it's easier for me to not have it on.
Okay! This first story, for everyone who's listening, is called I Found a List I've Never Seen Before in My Kitchen. It's in my handwriting. This story is by Redditor Jack Sim. But give my boy a round of applause. Or don't. I don't really care. Sorry, that was kind of fucked up. Me and my fucked up reality. Alright. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. I have to focus. Nirami,
I
shh,
need I
trying to
need to
focus.
yeah, I'm trying to. I need to know what moment
Yeah,
I'm gonna draw. I don't choose yet.
you're good. Take your time.
Oh, that's a
All
long
right.
one. That's quite a long one.
The long one. That's a long one. Hey guy, that's a long one.
Hmm.
Hey guys, that's a long one. Are you ready? All right, here I go.
What?
It all started with an unfamiliar line of dried blood on my cheek. Where did this blood come from? Not from me. I examined my entire body in the bathroom, and I couldn't even find a scrape. My head felt empty. It's not just that I couldn't remember where the blood came from, I couldn't remember anything. It all began this morning. I awoke to a ray of sunlight sitting on my eyelids. Groaning, I rotated my neck towards my alarm clock. 11 a.m. I pulled myself out of bed reflexively and walked a few feet to the bathroom. I saw the blood in the mirror and I realized that I couldn't remember anything. What's the word again? Amnesia. I found the answer somewhere inside my head. Standing in the empty bedroom, staring at the unmade bed, I realized that the word amnesia wasn't quite correct. Recurring. Recurring dissociative amnesia. Somehow I knew that was the correct expression. The thought stuck out in my brain like the dried blood on my light complexion. Nothing else would come. My mind was a lockbox and I hadn't yet found the right key, and my bedroom was empty. The blinds were drawn. A few feet from the bed stood a new-looking Foss wood desk. On top of it was a laptop, and the screen was dark, but light emanated from the computer's on switch. Sleep mode. I walked out of the bedroom. The hallway outside looked so familiar. Its white walls and gray carpet felt very natural to me. My house. I meandered past a closed. Did you really? No, it's not scary anymore. She like flips over the table. Fuck! Fuck! Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. I meandered past a closed door. As I reached my hand out to turn the knob, an uninvited word came to mind. Guest room. I left the door closed. Somehow I felt like what I was looking for was somewhere else. The hallway ended in a carpeted staircase. At the bottom of the stairs was a large wooden door with a glass pane. Clearly the front door. An unknown reflex guided me away from the door, towards an open kitchen and dining area. I caught a glimpse of a love seat and an armchair in a room adjacent to the kitchen, and a glass door beyond that. Living room. Backyard. This kitchen was familiar as well, but it was in a particular state of disarray. Dirty dishes filled not just the sink, but the surrounding counter area. Cupboards were torn open and a bag of sugar and cans of vegetables lay broken on the floor. The fridge was standing open and the smell of spoiled milk poured out of it. With a hand up to my nose, I closed it, and my gaze turned towards the dining room table. In a room of chaos, it was the only thing that was pristine. On it laid a sheet of notebook paper, filled with writing. My list. Instinctively, somehow I knew that the contents of this sheet were important to me. As I grasped it, I discerned that all the words filling the page were not just familiar. They were mine. From the first Y on the page to the last N. I could tell it was my handwriting. I wrote everything on this sheet. I had no recollection of doing so. The list is composed of 10 items numerically placed from top to bottom. All of the letters near the top, the first 5 entries, are written in my neatest handwriting. Handwriting I somehow knew was reserved in a past life for filling in tax forms. These entries are all written in black ink and a ballpoint pen. The 6th entry is also written neatly, although it's written in blue pink, or blue ink, presumably at a different point of time. The 7th entry is written in red ink, a long-handed, messy script, clearly mine, but also clearly demonstrating a lack of concern with its appearance. The last 3 entries are written in a fat green marker. They're messy and rambling and take up more than half the page. My eyes scanned the page. None of it made any sense to me at first, like I was reading a foreign language. Obviously, I knew what each word meant, but it was as though they didn't fit together. Then, one at a time, the items on the list began to trigger memories in the back of my head. Only then did I remember writing them. Number 1. Your name is Travis High. You live at 756 Camelot Lane in Gilman County with your wife Rebecca. Rebecca. Some of the fog was beginning to clear. Rebecca! My wife! She had dark hair and an impossibly light complexion. No, that wasn't right. Her hair was blonde. But she had started dyeing it recently. She liked to do things like that. How long had we been married? Not too long, a few years maybe, but I'm still having a hard time remembering how many. I knew who she was, and I could picture her in my mind, but I had no memories of us together. I could only picture her alone in a never-ending expense of black. She's wearing a white dress with red roses dancing across it. She's smiling, and her hair messily covers parts of her face. Then I read the next entry. Number 2. You have a steel plate in your head. You sustained acute brain damage during an attempted mugging. I stumbled over backwards like I've been pushed. My legs barely held me up. Unpleasant images and violent memories were suddenly falling back into place. My hand trembling, I reached up towards the left side of my skull, and I tapped it with a shaking finger. A metallic noise echoed inside. The mugging. It was in January. It had been snowing. Rebecca was with me. We were coming back from a movie. No, a play. You can't take it with you, I believe. Sorry, some of the memories are still coming back. I hadn't enjoyed the play. It wasn't nearly as funny as I envisioned. Rebecca had loved it, particularly the old man who had fireworks in the basement. We hadn't been able to park close to the theater, so we were several blocks away. I recommended we cut through an alleyway. It's Denver, I told her. It's perfectly safe. She was reluctant. She reminded me that there was a serial killer on the loose in the area, who had yet to be identified. I ignored her in protest and dragged her through the alleyway. A man was waiting there. Not a serial killer, just a common thief. He had a gun. His hand was trembling. He must have been nervous. Why would he have been so nervous? He was the one mugging us. Give me your wallet. There was no argument from me. I knew better than that. The purse, too. Becca's face looked pale, even framed by her blonde hair. Okay, but just let me get my keys first. No, now! Please! Please. She reached into the purse. The man raised the gun, and she really was just reaching for her keys. She would later confide in me, but he must have thought she was reaching for a gun of her own. I threw my body in front of her. Then I heard a deafening bang, and everything went dark. The next thing I remembered is the hospital. The bullet shattered part of my skull, but didn't kill me. Part of my skull was lodged in my cerebral cortex. I set the paper down. The memory had stopped there. There was a part of me that thought I shouldn't read anymore and that I shouldn't let any more memories in. Instinctively, I knew the rest of the items on the list would upset me, but I couldn't stop. Number 3. You suffer from reoccurring dissociative amnesia due to the damage. Dr. Phillips instructed you to make a list of important facts to assist in restoring your memory. When it's been forgotten, it's critical that you focus on things that you've documented, as false memories creation is a potential concern. Dr. Phillips was my therapist. He was an old patient man. Rebecca had found him, actually, and said he had a doctorate from a nearby college that was supposed to be, all that. You're going to have these episodes of forgetfulness for a while, maybe even forever. But visual reminders should cue your hippocampus to retrieve memories that you've buried. That's what he said, and that's what was the inspiration for this list. How long ago had that been? Days? Weeks? Months? At this point, small memories were coming back in flashes. It's hard to explain, but it was like I had short films playing in my head, but that certain scenes and clips were missing. Number 4. Your amnesia is usually triggered by periods of extreme stress. It is important that you relax and keep your head clear. I looked up from the note to the shambles of a kitchen that surrounded me. A puddle of juice and smashed carrots covered part of the floor. The carrots had gone brown, and I still didn't know how long I had been asleep. I figured that whatever created this mess must have been triggered by amnesia. Were we robbed? The funny thing is I don't remember how much the mess was made. I don't remember much of anything before I was in the bathroom. I barely remember waking up. The first thing I can clearly remember is the dried blood on my face. Reading this entry triggered a few brief memories of being told by Dr. Phillips and Rebecca that I had blacked out before. I still had no memory of the most recent blackout that placed me where I was now. Number 5. You work at the local supermarket. Dr. Phillips said it would be helpful for your mind to receive new stimulation on a daily basis. Rebecca works from home. I groaned. I had forgotten about work. Briefly considered calling in, but I figured based on the state of disarray in my home, I probably had bigger fish to fry. I don't like my job, but it was far beneath my level of intelligence. But it was easy for the supermarket to retrain me if the memories of how to do my job disappeared. This item on the list triggered a whole host of memories. Rebecca is a medical transcriptionist. She types of the audio recordings of doctor's notes so they have a written copy. That's why she worked from home. Before my accident, before I was shot, I used to be an accountant at a big firm. It brought lots of money in, and it brought Rebecca and I this house. I think before the accident that they were planning on having kids. She always wanted two of them, a little boy and a little girl. They were going to be named after her grandparents, Lincoln and Claire. My mind was filled with images of Rebecca's face, stained with tears while she told me not to blame myself. We couldn't have kids now. My memory loss was too big of a liability, and I turned back to the paper. The next entry was the first that looked like it had been written at a different point in time than the rest. Number 6. In August 2016, your cousin Scott moved in with you and Rebecca. He works out of your home as well, Scott. Scott is my only living family member. The rest died in a car accident when he and I were just kids. We actually hadn't seen each other in years, and he sought me out after the mugging. He always was been a burnout, but the kind of burnout who had insane computer programming skills. And that's what he did from home. Scott was nice enough to offer to help take care of things after my injury, although I always felt like he was just using the opportunity to move into a nicer house. Still, he helped with the chores, and he took care of stressful things that the doctor had recommended I stay away from, like paying bills. Rebecca thought it was nice to have someone else bringing in money into the house, although she was wary at first because she had never heard about him before. Scott and I were never very close, and like I said, we didn't see each other often. At this point, it occurred to me exactly how alone I was. There was no movement or creaking throughout the house, just suffocating silence. If Rebecca and Scott both worked from home, shouldn't they be here? I stood up from my kitchen table and tiptoed into our living room. It was in shambles as well. The two chairs I had seen previously were in fairly good condition, but the rest of the room was a wreck. A flat screen lay overturned on the floor. Dark glass blended in deceivingly with the carpet, and in the corner of the room, propped neatly against the stucco wall, was a long piece of wood with a large metal head. Sledgehammer. The head of the hammer was a rusty burgundy. The carpet beneath the hammer was distinctively different than the screen color, or cream color of the surrounding carpet. It was a dried brown crimson color. Blood. Something bad had happened in this house, and I looked at the glass door that led to our backyard. Lines were drawn, blocking the outside, and there was dried mud on the floor surrounding the door. The corners of my vision were starting to go gray, and my head felt heavy. I had an overwhelming urge to lie down, and my own voice started screaming in my head, trying to reason with me. No, don't go to sleep. But I'm so tired. No, it's the stress. It's triggering another blackout. You need to take a breath and relax. My chest was heavy and my breaths were sharp and irregular. Hyperventilating. I took a deep breath. The gray in my vision began to fade. Air filled my lungs and my heart began to beat in a more regular rhythm. After a few minutes, I felt normal again. I stood up slowly and returned to the kitchen. Some part of me knew that I had to finish reading, understanding the list. Number 7. Does Rebecca even still love me? Tears welled in my eyes. We had been having problems. Visions of Rebecca and I yelling filled my head. I'm sorry, I just can't keep it all straight. I'm doing my best. This is your best, Travis? I'm tired of reminding you who I am. I'm tired of getting calls from the police because you've fallen asleep on the side of the road. I didn't ask for this. I'm doing my best to provide for us. Provide for us? The only one who does anything to provide for us is Scott. Fuck Scott! Rebecca and I are standing in the kitchen and yelling at one another. There are multiple memories like this. She and I fighting about my amnesia. Some of them I can tell what we were fighting about, and some of them I can't. Scott is usually a topic of conflict, but it isn't always clear why. I kept staring at the list. The next item was the first written in the chaotic green marker. Green bled in the tiny veins on the paper, creating a frantic, unearthly look in my writing. Number 8. Rebecca and Scott are getting really close. They're probably fucking while I'm at work, and I hate myself. I hate myself. I'll kill us all. Oh God. Paranoia. Depression. Both of those things had become notable staples in my recent existence. Rebecca was usually cold to me. Numerous impressions of her ignoring me or treating me like an idiot danced in front of my eyes. I remembered the nervousness in my stomach while I stood bagging groceries, thinking of them alone together. The pain of how that felt still hurt. I realized that I was crying and all these painful memories were coming to the surface at once. I'll kill us all. I had written that. Had I killed my wife and cousin? I couldn't remember. I remember being so upset at the two of them, but I also remember still feeling all the love for Rebecca. I couldn't have killed them, could I? Then an unfamiliar word fought its way to the surface of the conflicting ideas in my head. Guest room. I practically ran up the stairs. The memories were starting to come back, but I wanted to see it myself before they did. The guest room door remained perfectly closed, with the blank walls beside it and the immaculately clear floor beneath it. It was a visage of white. And when I threw the door open, my vision filled with red. The bed was smeared in red. The walls were smeared in red. Even the fucking ceiling. There was blood blanketing most of the room, and it was old, dried blood. All I could smell was the sickening scent of iron. I felt the pressure rise in my chest. I could remember the sound of a hammer hitting something soft and wet. I could remember a scream, a woman's scream. Rebecca. I held my hand over my mouth and I pulled myself out of the room. I struggled to keep my composure. Gray clouds were already beginning to fill my vision, but I was struggling to keep myself calm. If I had killed Rebecca, I wanted to be sure. There was no body in the guest room. I had no recollection of where I might have hidden it. It took me almost 15 minutes to get back to the kitchen. Every few steps I had to stop and calm myself down. The minute details of Rebecca's death kept replaying in my head. And eventually I made it. I picked up the note, intent on finishing it. Number 9. Rebecca is in the garden. The dirt around the back door. She was buried in our garden. Rebecca loved the garden so much before my accident. We used to spend hours every week planting and watering. It was so peaceful out there. She loved planning what we were going to do and grow every year. Tomatoes, strawberries, rhubarb. It made perfect sense to bury her somewhere that she truly loved. I can see her in my mind. She's wearing a white dress with red roses dancing across it. The muscles around her mouth have relaxed and fallen into a macabre smile. Her hair is caked with dirt. Shovels full of dirt cover her body one by one. I could go outside and look for the body, but it would be pointless. I'm certain that she's there. By this point, it had taken me almost 2 hours to understand this whole list. It was barely a page. Yet reading it felt like I had read a whole book. There was only one item left, and I was confident that I had murdered Rebecca. Maybe Scott, too. I knew that I needed to call the police and confess, but first, I finished the list. Number 10. It's not what it looks like. Check the computer. This item made no sense to me. I remembered the computer in my room, but nothing else. Still, I had to know what it meant. Going back upstairs was difficult. Walking past the open door to the guest room nearly sent me overboard, but I survived it. I stood in my bedroom, where I had first come to the realization that something was off, where I had first found the blood on my face that sent me spiraling. The computer was still on, sleep mode, like I had initially thought. There was no passcode, and when I clicked on the power button, it sprang to life. The desktop was clear except for a single icon, Google Chrome. I clicked on it, and it brought me to a generic Google search screen. There were 2 bookmarks, 2 different articles. I dragged the cursor to one and opened it. A headline blared on the screen. Gilliman County Crusher still at large. The story detailed a serial killer in our area. He was famous for breaking into women's homes, and he would tie them up, torture them, and then kill them. Police were baffled by him. He had gone months without capture despite the horrific scenes he left in people's homes. His signature was crushing the skulls of his victims with a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. There was a sledgehammer in the living room. I shivered. I couldn't be the crusher, could I? I had no recollection of doing anything like that. And so far, whenever I read something that had meaning to me, it triggered a flood of memories, but I didn't remember killing anyone. I clicked on the other bookmark. It was a news article from 15 years ago. An obituary detailing an accident. Family dies in freak auto accident. This article brought back memories by the dozen. Images of my family's van sliding on the ice, crashing through a highway divider, hitting a car, going the other direction. Another boy is sitting adjacent to me on the seat. He's my age. The car hits us on his side, and his body was crushed. I remember watching him crumple and fold into a knot of gore and metal. And I remembered the funeral, standing with a police officer at my side, tears running lines down my face. I remember burying them all. My mother, my father, my aunts, my uncles, all dead. And the boy on the seat next to me, my cousin Scott, I was the only survivor. The article confirms what I've said. It lists the names of the deceased, including Scott High. How could he have been living with us then? Who was the person that had moved in with us? I picked up the note again and again I read it, searching for any clues that might explain what happened. My eye caught an item 3 of the list. It's critical that you focus on things that you've documented, as false memory creation is a potential concern. False memory creation. It clicked. The person living with us, the person that I had told my wife was a long-lost cousin of mine, the person who spent all day alone with Rebecca while I was at work worrying. He wasn't really my cousin, but he was convincing. I remember watching him tie Rebecca down to the bed, the stress already causing my vision to go dark. I remember the hammer. I remember her pleading, begging me to stand up and help, and I remember tears covering my cheeks and feeling absolutely powerless. I remember Scott cackling madly as he swung the hammer against her again and again. The sick noise of bones cracking and Rebecca screaming in pain. I remember her ear-piercing scream. And then it goes black. I think I figured out what happened. This serial killer person, he convinced me that he was my long-lost cousin. There are suddenly memories of when I first met him. He came to the hospital right after the accident. No one else was there at the time. He brought flowers, red tulips. We talked about the injury and my family, and he came back every week until I just assumed it was the name Scott I had known all along when we were kids. I convinced Rebecca of the same. I had no recent memories of him. Wrote it off as a symptom of my injury. She was under too much stress to really question it. So he murdered Rebecca. I wonder how many times I've woken up and came to this realization and then blacked out from stress, judging by the state of disarray in my home and the dried blood in the guest room. This isn't the first time. I know I should call the police, but my head feels so heavy. Everything is cloudy and my bed looks very soft. I'm so tired, I think I'll go back to sleep and call them when I wake up. Don't worry. I'll remember. And that's it. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
It was good. That was a really good story.
It was a good one, yes.
Bro's gonna be there forever.
What do you mean?
Because he's in a loop.
Oh,
He
you mean
sleeps, he
from
wakes
this
up, forgets everything, and has to remember everything, and then repeats it again. Because it goes into sleep mode. So yeah, it's a loop. Until the police come and, are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I get it.
You get it?
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was very good.
Swift said, I will remember. Bro will not remember.
Yeah, bro, does he know? He doesn't know.
Bruh doesn't know.
Bro, he doesn't know. That was good.
It was, yes. Very nice.
But does he know? He doesn't know. Alright.
What's the next one? What's the name of the next one?
Alright, let me look real quick. So the name of the next one we will be getting into. Boop, boop. Yes. I caught my grandfather talking to an air vent. And that is by K.M. Cooney.
Wait,
K.M.
what?
Cooney? That's the name of the person who wrote the story.
No, I mean the name. Can you repeat that?
Oh, it's I caught my grandfather talking to an air vent.
Okay.
Also, this has a warning on it. So,
What warning? About what?
if you don't like child abuse, don't listen.
Hold on. So, are you gonna read all the warnings before reading it?
Oh, that was the only warning.
Oh, so child abuse is the only
Just
warning.
child abuse. Yeah.
Okay,
If there's
guys,
any other ones that appear along the way, I'll let you know.
Okay, guys, warning. There's gonna be a child abuse in the story.
If you don't want to be a child and get smacked up, leave this story. But yes, child abuse warning.
I wonder who is Grandpa talking to.
Yes, you don't see my pet rat in the vent? His name is Remy. He taught me how to cook.
Grandpa, let's get you back to bed.
No.
Get off me,
Remy, stop him, Remy. Remy, say something. Say it louder.
Come on, Grandpa, it's time for bed.
And then he just slaps the child away. Stop touching me!
Stop touching me! He like breaks his skull. He's like, no! Like, don't worry, we can go
Remy,
cook
help
now.
me!
Remy comes out of the vent. Don't worry, let's cook. Starts pulling his hair.
Let's cook.
Bro, that is the funniest comment I've seen in chat. Why is Vic so funny? Vic's all dead.
Our little comedian.
I'm sorry, I can't go live, guys. I'm sorry. My PC is currently getting upgraded. I upgraded my RTX from a 3070 to a 4070. And it was worth it.
Hold on, let me
I'll
do
play
something.
Fortnite in the future.
Let me add a new one. Hold on.
What are you doing, girl? What are you doing, girl? What are you doing, girl?
Update it here.
Someone said they have the worst cramps. May you feel better. Good luck, soldier. Salute.
Oh my god, now I understand why it's like that. Oh no.
Is Vix a Sigma? No, I'm a Ligma.
Oh my god, Vix. I still don't fully understand it. It's not
Vix,
supposed
can you
to be like
just say
this.
my name? Like, that's it.
Wait. That's not
I
supposed to
could
be
say
like
your
this.
name,
Okay, now.
but I'm not gonna say your name. Now you have to center it.
Yeah, I know. That's why it was like not in a very good
Well, aren't you on?
quality.
It's still in a bad position right now.
No, wait, I'm gonna fix it, but it was a bad quality
You want to fix it?
before.
Yeah, you
That's
could
why.
just do like fit to screen.
How do you do that?
You right click it on Streamlabs and then you click fit to screen.
Oh, it's all in German. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know how to read all that. Vix is so silly.
Oh,
Thank
there you go.
you.
There you go. Oh, now it's better. I was like, why is it such a bad quality? I was like, is it me? Then I realized it was just like, yeah. But either way.
Ava Cooper said I want to be noticed by my queen. I'm right here. I'm your queen. I noticed you. Alrighty. Are
Shall we
you ready for the
continue?
next story?
Yes, we can do next.
Child abuse warning. Child abuse. If you don't like hearing kids getting beaten up, don't listen.
What is that comment?
What?
What is that comment?
That's normal. You're gonna get used to that.
I love that. I want to read that. It's funny. Holy shit.
Vix, I love your content. Please don't get pregnant.
Don't worry, random
Wait,
citizen.
now
That can't happen.
why is it now only one picture? It's not supposed to be like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, someone said that they love our voices. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wait, I'm so
Thank you indeed.
confused, bruh.
You know, very calm and nice demeanor.
Why can I not see like airplay all of a sudden now?
Someone said I talk fruity and everyone thinks I'm gay. Thank you for that. Thank you for calling me fruity and gay.
Okay, okay.
You like men, don't ya? Huh? Oh boy. Yeah, I bet you kiss boys, don't ya? Oh boy.
Victor, are you still sick? No, I'm actually better. I'm recovering perfectly fine.
I don't know why, but my streamers doesn't want to recognize my airplay.
You're girly pop, Vix. Thanks, girl. Slay. Slay.
Vix, you're killing me. Cry laughing emoji. Listen here, Vix. I'm the only fruity one. Okay, you can take that title. Congratulations. Vix quit YouTube and voice act. Okay, damn. Can't I just do both?
He is planning to do voice acting just like after his microphone arrives.
Yeah. Once I get my microphone and my PC are back, I'm gonna start connecting my I'll be connecting a couple of things to my PC, and then I will start doing voice acting work. And then you can pay me money.
Okay.
Are you certain you are unable to become pregnant? Are you pergernat? Pregante.
Okay, I'm ready.
Happy pregnancy. Why is Vic still possessed by Bill in the thumbnail? It's been a long day.
Thumbnail, okay.
Look, it's been a long day. Things have been really tough. All right.
Fine, I'm gonna make a new one, but it's gonna be shitty.
Vix, your voice is very pretty and very soothing. You're so skibbity, Ohio Mega Riz Lord Phantom Tax. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, actually, you know what? That's a good question. Nirami, do you think I'm Sigma or Skibbity?
You're skibbity.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. What does that even mean?
Yippee! Hooray!
I know, but Sigma sounds too serious for you.
I am Sigma. Alpha Sigma Male. And that's right. Starts dancing my pecs. Oh yeah. No, no.
No.
La 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 la. Vix, I love your content. Please don't get killed by a falling Nintendo on 9/40 of July 11th, 2025. Okay. Okay. Sorry, did I catch you gooning? Wow.
My poor little microphone
Oh.
can't pick up my loud, high-pitched voice. How does it feel to hold the gyat of someone you love, Vix? Thank you for that horrible question. Answer, I don't know.
Do you want to starting the story, Vix? Because you have to. You have
Well,
an
I was waiting for
appointment.
you.
No, I'm waiting
I
for
do have
you
an
to
appointment
start.
soon. Oh, are you ready? Okay, everyone, we're going to begin our next story. So,
When I heard the title, I just okay. Go on.
alright. This story is by KM Cooney on the r/no sleep subreddit. The story is called I Caught My Grandfather Playing Among Us. Sorry, I meant I caught my grandfather talking to an air vent. My grandpa was Among Us. He played Among Us every day. It was his favorite video game. He used to say things like Ohio and Phantom
Oh my
Tax.
God, Vix, just start reading
Sometimes he would be
seriously.
Skibbity. Okay. Apologize for being mean to me. For what? Thank you. No one heard you on stream
Okay,
say
well,
that?
so what you say, Vix?
La 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 la. Alright, here we go. Oh, I caught my grandfather talking to an air vent. Warning for everyone here, there is child abuse in the story at some point, so please be alert. Let's begin. My grandfather isn't the kind of man who is particularly communicative. Actually, he barely bothers to speak at all unless it's a grunt of satisfaction aimed at a piece of pork chop or a prod to turn the TV channel back to golf. My mother says he's just selective with his words, but I prefer to call him what he is, a dick. He's always been this way, even when I was an adorable little toddler, teetering my way around his living room. Barely acknowledged me, and he would just sit in his plush armchair and read the paper, ignoring my squeals of delight as I practiced my dance recital in front of him. Pappy, look! I would squawk in his direction, and he would just shift his newspaper higher in his lap to hide me from the view. It was always Grandma who offered me any sort of grandparent-related comfort. She doted on me throughout my childhood, pinching my cheeks, baking my cookies, cooing at every sound or accomplishment I made. So then she passed away last spring, and I was heartbroken. Apparently so was my grandfather. That's when my mother cooked up an idea for a granddaughter-grandfather bonding extravaganza. She shipped me off to live with him for 2 weeks during summer vacation while she took a honeymoon with her new husband. Even though I'm 15 and purely capable of staying alone for 2 weeks, my mother just couldn't resist the opportunity to kickstart the grandfatherly affection that should have taken place the day I popped out the womb. You'll have fun, honey, she said earnestly as she practically kicked me out of the moving car. He doesn't even talk, I yelled in frustration. Yes, he does, my mother rolled her eyes. You just have to listen. The first week ticked by pretty much like I expected. We ignored each other in gruff silence and ate our meals in secrecy, him in front of the TV and me in the guest bedroom. It wasn't until the last night of my visit that I got up in the middle of the night to piss, only to find a light shining from his bedroom. Curious, I peeked out from around the corner. My grandfather was sitting in his armchair, a glass of scotch in his hand and eyes puffy from tears. His gaze was trained toward the air vent next to his bed. I wish you were... Oh, sorry. I wish you were still here,
No,
he
that's not a
whispered.
grandpa voice.
I wish you were still here. Sorry. I wish you were still
No,
here.
that was good
He
actually.
whispered. I could barely hear him over the clink of ice in the glass. You wish who was here? I asked lightly, stepping forward. His gaze up towards me and he beckoned me to sit down on the edge of the bed. I balanced myself on the edge and looked back at him nervously. I don't think we've ever sat this close next to each other. Wordlessly, he handed me the glass of scotch, and I took a sip and let the liquid bite my tongue, sending shivers down my spine, and I handed it back to him. I think it's time you know about my sister, he murmured. This is the story in his words. I know you don't think very highly of me. I don't think very highly of me either. Honestly, there were a lot of things I would change if I could. You're young, but you'll understand that one day. My parents and I lived here ever since I was a little boy, and back then, after the war, this place was like a castle. I loved living here. This was actually my room, believe it or not. And for an 8-year-old boy, it was my kingdom. I used to pretend that my mother and father were the king and queen, and I was the prince. I would rule over my stuffed animals as if they were subjects. My parents actually encouraged it. They thought it was cute. My mother was a homemaker back then, and most women were. So she was always around to cook and clean and play my childish games with me. My father was different. He was attentive when he was home, but he was rarely home. See, he was a preacher. He was a man of faith. When you are young, you just trust your parents. You take them on their word and you believe what they say. You have no reason to consider otherwise. So when they told me to go to church 3 times a week, I dutifully followed through. It was fun being the preacher's son. My mother and I always seemed to bathe in a heavenly glow wherever we went. People knew us as the perfect family, a family of faith in God and virtue. My father was known as a man of God, someone the community should trust in. So when my father told me to ignore the sounds coming from the attic, I did. I first noticed the sounds the day we moved in. I was sleeping when I heard a muffled cry coming from the air vent. The cry was immediately silenced with a dull thud, and I fell back asleep instantly. For the next few weeks, I would hear the occasional pitter-patter of footsteps or the offbeat thud in the middle of the night. My father told me that we had rats, and I learned to grow accustomed to the random spurts of noise, much as children do. Then, one night, I was playing in my room when I should have been sleeping, and I held my fake sword up to the stuffed animals and pretended to knight them. I was asking them to bow down to me when I heard it. Hello? The voice was a muffled echo, barely reaching my ears. It was a girl's voice. And that's why I paid it so much attention to it. I wasn't allowed to have girls in my house. Someone there? The voice echoed again. I realized at this point that it was coming from the air vent next to my bed, and I quickly scrambled towards it, letting my fake sword clatter to the floor. Who's there? I asked, using the bravest voice I had. Polly. I live in attic. Then that I noticed how childish the voice sounded. How strange it was. I bent my head closer to the vent. You my brother? The voice said. I'm not sure. Are you my sister? I countered. Don't know. Daddy says I have bother, but won't let me see him. Why not? Daddy says something's wrong with me. Is there? I can't think real good. Oh, who's your father? I asked. Michael Larson. That's my father, I yelled excitedly. That means that you must be my sister if we have the same father. That how it work? I think so, but I guess I don't really know. I don't know either. We were silent for a little while. Why do you live in the attic? I finally asked, the question burning the roof of my mouth. Daddy say I can't leave because I'm not like everyone else. So you've never been outside? Don't think so. Polly said nervously. Not allowed to talk about it. Oh. I sat back on the bed, puzzled.
I'm going to go to bed.
I said hesitantly into the air vent.
Oh, okay.
Polly answered back. Her voice faltered, and for a moment I thought she was going to cry.
But I'll be back.
I said urgently, trying to calm her down.
You will? Of course, I'm your brother.
I assured her.
And I'm your sister.
The next morning I woke up excited. Not only was it Saturday, but I had my sister. I bounded down the stairs 2 at a time, eager for breakfast like every Saturday, and my mother had laid out a full breakfast spread for us. And after father led us in our morning prayer, dug in the steaming pancakes and sausages on my plate. Whoa, whoa there, champ! My father laughed as he watched me shoveling the food. What's the rush?
I want to finish them quickly so I can go play with my sister.
I explained through a bite of toast. My mother's face went stone gray, as if she had just seen a ghost, and my father clenched his jaw and very carefully put down his fork and knife. They didn't make a sound. MJ, he said with an edge he couldn't hide, you don't have a sister. I looked up from my plate confused.
Yes, I do. She lives.
Enough! My dad roared, pounding the table with his fist. My mom was now looking down at her hands, folded neatly in her lap. I saw a small tear fall on her plate. Can't you see you're making your mother upset with your lies? He hissed.
But I'm not.
Go to your room this instant, MJ, he demanded. And if you try to lie to us again, I promise you that you will never get to leave. I pushed back my chair and ran from the table, hot, messy tears sliding down my face. I threw myself onto my bed and cried at the unfairness of it all, and after a few minutes, I heard her.
You okay?
Polly asked. Anger flared in my chest. No, I spat bitterly. I got in trouble and it's all your fault.
What happened?
I could hear her concern, but I didn't care.
I told my dad that I had a sister and he yelled at me and grounded me.
I hiccuped between sobs.
You told Daddy we talked?
She said in a panicked voice.
Kinda. You shouldn't have done that.
I could hear her voice trembling.
I'm going to be in real trouble. He killed me. Yeah, well, you deserve it, I screamed at the air vent.
Bro.
You ruined my whole day. I was fine before I met you.
I could now hear Polly crying through the vent. I thought her muffled sobs would make me feel better, but they only made me feel worse. Guilt bubbled in my stomach, and I put a pillow over my head to drown out her crying. I must have fallen asleep because when I woke up, the pillow was on the floor, and I could hear Polly again. But this time, she wasn't alone.
No,
she whimpered. How did you find a way to talk to him? A voice hissed at her, and I immediately sat up, my heart pounding in my ears. I knew that voice.
No, I'd be good. I'd be good.
Polly cried back. I could hear a thump, and Polly cry out, and I pressed my ear closer to the vent.
I talked to no one.
You're lying, my father's voice yelled back.
No, I could. I don't lie.
I heard another thump. Now Polly was crying loudly. I shivered as I listened to what was happening above my head. You better be a good little girl, my father replied. You know what happens when you're a bad girl.
Please, no, I good. Very good.
Take your clothes off.
No, I don't lie.
Polly's voice was interrupted by another slap. I heard her cry out and had to clamp my hands over my mouth so I wouldn't.
Mm,
You heard me. Should I skip past this portion?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let me see here. I think, it was going to end anyways. Okay, cool. They were just going to cut it off there. The face you're drawing represents it perfectly.
No, because like
Yeah, no, it's a little,
they didn't put enough trigger warnings in the beginning.
yeah.
There was more than
Let's
child
do,
abuse.
child abuse and other abuses.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna see. I'll show
It's
mercy.
okay.
I didn't even pay attention. Like
No,
I
it's
just read it. So
no,
like,
it's
oh yeah.
okay. Just skip the
No one touched me in chat. I swear, I'm innocent. Don't use that. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I sprinted from my room and ran all the way downstairs. A part of me really hoped to see my dad sitting in the living room. When I rounded the corner, I prayed, I begged God that I would see my father sitting in his favorite chair. I prayed that I was just imagining things, that my creativity had gotten the better of me. But when I turned into the living room, I saw only my mother sitting rigidly on the sofa as she knit. Mother, I said. Tears were still dripping from my face. Mother, where's father? I was shaking. She looked up at me with a sad smile. He's praying, darling. Are you telling the truth? Of course, dear, she said. But her eyes told me something different. Come on now, she said. Let's listen to something on the radio. Your favorite program should be starting soon. I took my seat beside her, and she turned the radio on. She hummed as she continued knitting, her mouth pressed in a firm and tight line. She held the needles so tightly that her fingertips were turning white. I love you, father, she said. I know, mother, I know. My father's knife cut through the steak as if he was cutting through butter. The meat bled lightly, just how he liked it. Are you done lying yet, MJ? He asked without looking up from his plate. Yes, sir, I am, I answered back. I let my imagination get the better of me. He smiled, and then pointed his knife towards my mother. And what do you have to say to the woman who gave birth to you? My face flushed red. I'm sorry, mother. There's my good boy, he said as he continued to eat. I think you learned your lesson then. I did. The dinner talk then turned towards the church fundraiser happening the next weekend, and my mother promised she would bake her famous pecan pie, and my father discussed who from Bible study would be attending. And after dinner I excused myself to my bedroom. Polly? I whispered into the air vent. I heard a small series of sniffling as crying. Guilt boiled in my chest. Polly, I'm sorry, I mumbled. Can you forgive me? I guess, Polly replied. Are you okay? No. I looked around my room for a second. Well, whenever I'm sad, I like to play a game, I explained as I picked up a toy sword. Do you want to play with me? Okay. Okay, well, I'll be the prince and you can be the princess, and we both have kingdoms that we can rule. Yours can be the attic and mine can be my bedroom. How does that sound? Fun? I heard her sniffle. I be princess? Of course, I assured her. You can be anything you want to be. And that's how it started. With a game. We would wait until I heard my father go to sleep every night, and then we would give our secret code. I would tap the inside of the air vent twice, and if she could talk, she would tap right back. Then we knew it was safe to play. Some nights we would rule over our kingdoms, while other nights I would tell stories from books. Some nights we would just talk. It was nice having her around. I grew accustomed to our routine, but like all rowdiness, sometimes they break. Sometimes I would tap into the air vent and hear nothing back except some weird groans and the occasional thud. I would go downstairs. I would always see my mother knitting, knuckles white. Father was nowhere to be seen. That's how I knew he was in the attic with Polly. Polly didn't like to talk much after those times. What outside like? Polly asked one night. I was lying on my back, my head turned towards the air vent. I pondered for a second. It's big, I guess, I said lamely. But it's cold now because it's almost Christmas time, and there's a lot of snow.
What's snow like? You've never seen snow? No. Well, I said, why don't I show you? Polly paused. I don't leave the attic. Ever. I sat up in my bed. What if you left just once? I can come and get you, and I can take you outside so you can see the snow. And then I can take you back. Father won't even have to know. Like secret? Polly asked. I could hear the excitement bellow out of her. Outside? Outside! She yelled, forgetting the hushed tones we normally use. I laughed. Yes, let's do it. I screamed as I got up in excitement. When? Polly yelled. We can go right. Who are you talking to? My father interrupted. My face turned beet red as I turned from the air vent to face him. I was caught. No one, I mumbled weakly. I'm just playing a game. My father's eyes wandered to where my stuffed animals were, shoved away into the corner, forgotten and abandoned. With who? He challenged. No one, sir, just myself. His face turned to stone and he nodded gruffly at me. Carry on, then. Just try to keep it down. And he turned out the door, and I nearly shit myself with relief that he had believed me. I waited a few minutes before I spoke again. Let's wait until he goes to bed. Then I can take you, I whispered. But I didn't get a response. Polly? I asked after a few more minutes. Polly, do you still want to go outside? No, my father's voice answered back. She doesn't. And I clapped my hands over my mouth and boiled upright from my bed. MJ, Polly answered back weakly. Help. But I stood frozen. I didn't move when I heard thud after thud after thud. I didn't move when Polly whimpered out for her brother. I didn't move when I heard my father. I didn't move when the attic turned as silent as the snow outside. I stood there in the middle of my room with my hands balled into fist at my side. I stood there as I heard my father leave. His steps staggered and heavy. I stood there as I saw the porch light blink into life outside of the window, and I stood there as I watched my father digging, digging, and digging all night long. And in the morning, there was a raised patch of dirt under the maple tree that wasn't covered with snow, like the rest of the backyard, and the air vent was silent. My grandfather put down his glasses. Oh, sorry, oops. My grandfather put down his glasses and stared back towards the air vent. The room seemed heavier now. Her name was Polly, I asked. He nodded. Like you. He smiled weakly. When you were born, I asked your mother to name you Polly. Does she know why? She knows I had a sister. She doesn't know much else. I was silent for a second. What did you do after it happened? My grandfather looked down into his drink. Nothing. Just like what I did when it was happening. What was wrong with her? I asked slowly. Why did your father keep her locked away? He was silent for a moment before he took a swig of his drink. I think she had Down syndrome. And I think my father was ashamed of that. He sighed. Grandpa, I'm so... Don't, he interrupted. It's not necessary. He sat in silence for a few minutes, listening to the gentle hum of the air vent. Polly would have made a fine princess, I whispered. And he smiled for a second. I could have sworn that I saw the flicker of been like as an 8-year-old boy. Yes, he agreed. She would have. And that's the end of I Caught My Grandfather Talking to an Air Vent. That wasn't as scary as it was depressing.
Yeah, honestly.
A bummer!
I feel more like
I feel
sad
upset.
and
Yeah, I
upset
feel depressed.
rather
That's so
scared.
depressing.
Like at some point, like while hearing the story, I just didn't want to continue drawing, honestly.
Yeah, oh, that was fucking sad. Smith said,
I really did. I
well.
was like, the drawing I made now, I'm like, I don't want to keep it at all.
Yeah, no, now I'm
Mm,
just bummed out.
yeah.
That was fucked up.
Mm.
I'm glad I didn't. I'm ashamed that I had to read certain
No,
parts of that story.
no, I get it, but like honestly,
But it's
that's
a part of
why.
the story.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's true, but like I would have expected to have more trigger warnings in the beginning about a specific
Yeah.
topic, basically. Like, I mean, obviously, this is still like there are like many topics to child abuse, but like I thought that there's like also obviously like personally for me, there's also like specific like things that do maybe trigger in some type of way. So it's kind of like it would have been nice to basically to know from the author basically what exactly is gonna come into the story, because I expected like something not nice to happen, but like that was just literally like out of nowhere, like my eyes
Yeah, I was
wide.
like, whoa, yeah. I was like
No.
reading it. I read it. I looked back and I was like, wait a second.
My eyes
What did
wide,
I
and I
read?
was like, hold on, like I was like, am I like
Is this
is my
allowed?
yes, like, was my English like, am I not understanding, like is this what I'm thinking it is?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Wait.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And like
Well,
after that I was like, I don't want to draw anymore, this is sad, actually. I'm very
yeah.
like upset. This is not
I was so immersed though
spooky.
in the story. I mean, reading
Yeah.
it had me immersed. I was like, damn.
I mean, the writing is good. It is good,
Yeah.
but like, yeah.
If you ever hear me stumble, by the way, it's because there's sometimes a misspelling, so it throws me off for like a second. So I have to like reiterate. I'm like, oops, sorry. I gotta go back. There was no iteration between when it was gonna switch from his voice to her voice. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
damn.
okay, well.
Well, that was a bummer. All right, well, that was,
Whoa,
I think that was a pretty
whoa,
good stream. Whoa. Michael, don't leave me here. Michael, cough, cough. So anyway, Vix, how's the computer upgrade coming along? Going pretty good, man. But yeah, those two
Man.
stories were pretty good, I will admit. Even if they were dark and one of them was just sad, they were still really well written. I do enjoy me a thriller, sad, whatever you call it.
I mean,
Sad, scary.
yeah, I mean, I think it could have been also like cool to know if the story is actually something sad or like if it's actually spooky. Because like I'm
it says no sleep, so I'm not gonna have any sleep tonight now. I'm
yeah,
depressed.
well, I mean, yeah, because I don't want to go to sleep because not going to sleep because I'm depressed. I want to go not go to sleep because it's scary.
Yeah, because I want to be scary. Yeah, but I don't feel scared. I just feel really bummed out. I feel bad.
Like I was really like going for like drawing a creepy picture, and I'm like, well, no, that's not how I wanted to portray the story at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
But still, overall, pretty solid stories. That first one was really
Someone
good.
said though, you know what the worst part is? This is a realistic fiction, not a fiction.
Is this realistic fiction?
Well, I mean, I would have imagined that obviously things like this happen, but like I do wonder if it's like based off of a real story, like because of someone's telling.
It might be. I don't know. You never know if it is. Isn't. You usually say this is based off of a true story at the beginning. So, but it didn't have that. It was just
well, yeah,
just
that's
a
the thing,
story.
like sometimes they do say like based on a true story, right?
Yes.
So,
But remember, everyone, that anything could be real. So always be safe and take care of yourself.
Is there a possibility to search up for like paranormal stuff, basically?
Yeah, you could do. If you look through r/no sleep, there's definitely ghost stories. They'll have little tags next to them that say what they are.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been better because again, like when I heard like talking to a vent, I thought there's gonna be like a ghost.
Yeah, I was like, ooh,
like,
scary.
A corpse, talking corpse.
Yeah.
So like I was about
He's talking to some evil
draw.
deity.
Yeah, and I was about to draw something creepy, and I was like, I don't want to portray that girl like that. Like,
Yeah, little.
she's very sweet.
This is
Mm,
fucking cruel. This is evil.
exactly.
Sorry, laughing is my coping mechanism for
No, same,
sadness.
same though, same though. It's just like I
Everyone's
generally
just
don't
like,
know how
he's
to
evil!
react otherwise.
So it's poor Vix, he's traumatized. Oh, trauma Pookie. Yeah.
That was yeah, no, that, but again, I guess that was kind of like a first experience. Now we know for the future that um I do think we're gonna use more like paranormal stuff in the future, because
Yeah.
I feel like if we're gonna use like true stuff also, like I usually want to read those like when the last two that I chose, like not today but the last two, I kind of skimmed through it to see how it goes. But like with this one, again, the one part that was just literally such a small part, so it wasn't possible to see. Um, but at the same time, it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
yeah. I just don't want it to have another story where I'm focused on drawing something creepier than it's actually something very sad.
Yeah. It's like fucking a bummer now. Yeah, I was getting ready for him. And then I spoke to the moth vent. It had a Mothman in there, and he was talking to me and saying some weird shit. Not, there's
Exactly.
my long lost sister. This is bad.
Yeah. I feel sad
But it's
now.
okay.
I feel bummed out.
It was still a good story, nevertheless.
It was
Obviously,
a good.
the themes of it are not good. Nothing about that is something I would encourage. But I mean, the story itself is
Well, yeah,
good.
no, I would definitely cut it out when editing, like, or posting it. I'm
Please
definitely,
do.
I'm definitely
Definitely
cutting
cut
that
that one
part.
part. No one, no, 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 no. No one acknowledge what happened.
Yeah. Okay, all good.
Hey kid, want some candy? But yeah, I have an appointment in like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I'm gonna
yes, you
go.
should go. You should go. Yes,
Yes,
thank you,
yes.
Vix.
But
It was very wonderful. You have a wonderful voice to read for all of
yes.
us. As many
Oh
people said, you
wow,
should start a podcast.
flustered, blushies.
Okay.
Stop it.
A lot of people
Okay, yeah,
said
I
you
know.
should start a podcast channel and stuff like that. So yes.
We'll do. You know what we should do? Whenever I have more free time, we should do like a thing similar to Spooky Scary Sundays, where instead of reacting to videos, we
Hmm.
just like read stories and stuff.
Yeah, that would be nice too. Yeah.
Nirami's Scary Thursday or
And I
Wednesday.
just sit there and I don't talk.
Yeah, it's like well, I mean, we just like read it and then we just talk about like
And
the
like
story
there,
afterwards.
there, there will be like one episode where I read the story, and it's gonna be the most last viewed one.
Yeah, we can kind of do what like Wendigoon and Meat Canyon do, where they like read horror stories and kind of
Mm.
bounce off of each other.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Well, definitely
but
we
yeah.
can try stuff. Well, okay,
All right, well,
guys.
I'm glad I got to be here. This was fun. Thank you
Still,
for having me.
yes. Thank you for listening with us, and yeah. Yes.
All right, well, thank you everyone for your goodbyes, but I'm gonna let you go on ahead. I'm gonna go.
Yes.
I'll probably be back in like an hour, and I'll probably text you and be like, "I'm back," and then if you're
Okay.
asleep, I'll beat you up. Anyways,
Okay.
make sure you guys eat your
Okay,
eat
Swift.
cereal. Oh.
Swift said, "My night is ruined. Thanks. Bye."
Where'd you get these stories from, Vix? Narami. They're from Reddit. So go to
Good.
Reddit r/no sleep if you want to get some scary stories. And if you look at Narami's screen, you can send some stories to
Yes,
story
exactly.
at naramiwork.com.
Oh my god, I almost forgot to say, bro. Basically, guys, yes, you can send your stories also to like to the email like story@niramiwork.com. Basically, it can be also fictional, obviously, like it can be something paranormal or whatnot. Also, I forgot to say, you can send them anonymously. I'm not gonna say the names, I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just like, yes. Okay.
Exactly. So guys, don't be afraid to. But anyways, I'm gonna head on,
Okay.
guys, and I'll have my PC back in probably a couple of days. So bye bye. Why are you being so loud? You're
Okay,
just so
guys,
loud.
goodbye.